Hey, it's Jessica LaMarre with Love Personal Growth, your go-to for embodied healing and spirituality in life, business, and relationships. And today we're talking about discernment. Take a deep breath with that one. Discerning in decisions that we need to make, discerning in situations that we find ourselves in, whether this is small decisions or large decisions. It is having the intuitive knowing to guide us through which direction to choose. We're always in the process of starting and ending. It's this cycle, this death and rebirth cycle that continues. And we can know intuitively that we need to start something new or to end something. But what typically happens is that we overthink. We overthink what we're going to say. We overthink what happened in the past. And we spend hours upon hours doing this. I personally don't do this much anymore, but I used to all the time. I would think about things that happened 5 minutes ago in the meeting, 2 days ago, something that happened a year ago. I wasn't big on thinking about things that happened in the far past, but even 3 years ago, 5 years ago. And so we get caught up in these thought patterns that honestly keep us stuck from making decisions that will benefit our future. We are here to live a life that feels in alignment to our soul, which means we must make choices that are in alignment. And it can be very difficult to make those choices. I am not going to sugarcoat it. Some of the choices that we have to make in our lives, the discernment that we have to make, is not easy. We may have to choose to leave a career or a business or a relationship. We may have to choose to do things that are scary for us, like starting a business or a new career or a new role. It can be difficult, but what I know for sure is that when we are stuck in overthinking, we are stuck. And what we can do to get unstuck is to honor the parts of us that are continuing in that overthinking process. And the parts of us that are scared that a decision will be made. Let's be real. They're overthinking because they don't trust. They're overthinking because they are scared that we will make a decision in which they cannot control it. And I say they, I'm talking about parts that exist within us. I'll do another session on parts. But you can think of your thoughts as parts for now, for simplicity. There are parts of us, these thoughts, that want to stay in control. And the only way they know how to stay in control is to continue cycling. We must realize that we are not those thoughts, as Eckhart Tolle says in his book, The Power of Now. What a liberation to realize that the thought in my head is not who I am. Who am I then? The one who sees it. And so once we realize we're not these thoughts and that we can, I don't want to say separate, that's not the right word, but that we can discern between our own thoughts and our intuitive knowing, then we can move forward in a much more peaceful place. And that's the key. The key is to move forward in our lives, to take aligned action from a peaceful place, from a heart-centered space that feels good. However, if we take action from an intuitive knowing that we know, this is what's needed, but we don't honor the parts of us that have resistance, those parts of us that have been overthinking everything, along the entire journey, they're going to be there with us. And just think about how this happens in your life. Let's say that you took on a project in your business or at work or at home, whatever it is. You took on this project and you knew it needed to get done. You knew this was the way, this was the path forward. But throughout this entire time, you have some parts of you, let's just call one the criticizer. I told you shouldn't have done it this way. I told you we shouldn't have done it this way. I told you that that other way was better. Or the pusher, like, let's just keep going. Let's just work till midnight tonight. Let's get all of this done. Oh, let's wake up early. Let's send that email at soccer practice when we're at our kids' soccer practice. Or the pleaser, well, let's make sure it's like the way that they want it so we're not disappointing anybody. Do they like that? Well, how do I know if they like that? And then we go into the spiral thoughts. Here's what I know. Let's just say for simplicity, you make $100 an hour. You have probably spent way more than 1 hour on these decisions that you need to make in your life. And you know what decisions I'm talking about. I don't have to tell you, I don't have to write it out, I don't have to explain it to you. You know the decisions that I'm talking about, the ones that you need to make to live more in alignment with your soul. You know them. So as you know what's there, if you know, let's just, again, for simplicity, say that you make $100 an hour. If that is the case, and you have not only thought about it, made out plans in 5 different directions as to how it could go or would go, have thought about all of the things that have happened in the past that may prohibit this or why it can't be done, have thought about the doubts and the fears, have called your friends, maybe your coworkers, talked through the process of this, let's just call it a project, of this project. You spend hours upon hours. We're talking hundreds of dollars, maybe even thousands of dollars of time, of thought process time that you have spent on this. What I'm asking of you is, are you ready for another way? Are you ready for another path? Do you want to know that there is another way, that you don't have to overthink anything, that you can live in alignment with your soul, your intuitive knowing, you can live intuitively aligned? If the answer is yes, then I'm going to invite you to unplug from the mass consciousness, the beliefs that it has to be a certain way, that following your heart is wrong, that you can't trust yourself, that you can't trust your thoughts, or not that you can't trust your thoughts, but that they need to be suppressed, that you need to overcome them. That overcome, I'm not a fan of that word, and that you need to overcome your fears. Why don't we change the tune? Why don't we open the door for what's possible when we seek to understand, when we seek to listen, to have compassion and curiosity for ourselves? Because when we do that, when we have a decision that needs to be made and discernment is required to go between the polarity, the duality that is existing within us, the parts that say we should do it this way and we shouldn't do it this way. By the way, there's always the third way, and that's the way that you're aiming for. That's the way you're shooting towards. Like, that's what we're going for, is that third way. Inside of us, there's not intuition fighting our analytical mind. That's not it. It's 2 parts of us in contention, and the intuitive self is watching these 2 parts go at it, knowing there's a third way. So once you can realize that you can release these parts by honoring, listening, understanding, and letting them go, right? What does that mean? Again, I've already talked about this. It's feeling it and allowing it to be let go of in the breath or in the elements or whatever feels good to you. You don't have to hold on to it. So we are shifting the way that we are thinking because we want to gain clarity from our inner sanctuary, from our heart, from the wisdom that exists within. All of the answers are inside of us. You've heard this many times. I don't need to say it again. All of the answers are within you. Yes, I know. What we are working to do is, how do I access those answers? How do I tap into those answers? That's what discernment is. It is discerning between the parts of us that are terrified to move forward, that don't trust that we will be taken care of, that don't trust in ourselves or in our abilities or in our actions, and rather listen to the fear and the doubt that has been instilled in us. And instilled, I talk about that in my book. There's instilled thoughts. My book, Reclaim Yourself. We must heal the instilled so that we can move forward with a knowing that we are on the path we are called to. The confusion is showing up where love is most needed. I'll say that again, right? Even write that down, not if you're driving. The confusion is showing up where love is most needed. It is saying, I am calling for love and I have no idea or have any other way to get your attention. I need your attention. Can you listen to me? And so what I invite you to do is to tap into the intuitive knowing, that third place, that third space within you. That is a connection between the two parts that are dueling inside of you, that has a different perspective. And if you want to learn more about this, I have what I call the TEBA process, the TEBBA process. And in this process, we walk through a decision that you have to make. And in this process, it's very long, it's very detailed. It's in my meditation course, Elevate Your Intuition meditation course. It's a detailed process. The video recording for it is over 25 minutes with a 13-page document, a workbook to work through. These are for the decisions that matter. I'm talking to the people out there who want to take action that is aligned, who are willing to do the healing work so that they can show up as their most authentic self, so that they can love themselves more than they ever thought possible, so they can serve at a greater capacity and level than what they ever imagined. That's who I'm talking to. If that's you, then I invite you to go to my website, lovepersonalgrowth.com, go to the meditation course. It's a digital course, and register for that course. You can get that course and you could go through the TEBA process and you will have clarity and insight. And if you just want something right now, like I said, figure out the two parts inside of you that are dueling and realize that there's a third way and that your thoughts are not you. Until next time, have a good day.